Like go back in the acting. What are we doing after? Nothing. We sat in the hotel room. Yeah, come on. The mall was right there. Oh yeah, we missed it. Yeah. Yep. 18. 31 total. 21 total. I want to go.
What's up, everyone?
Hey, Jeremy.
Willie's with recruits' parents right now. He's coming in right now. So
Make yourself at home, and then I'll go show you guys around afterwards.
all right,
Ready to go?
ready to go. All right, guys, we'll use the raise hand function like we normally do. So we'll go ahead and get right to it. So go ahead and just do that and we'll get underway. Oh, go ahead.
How you doing, Willie? Hood Rubino, Devil's Digest. I understand you have an announcement on the new hire for your staff.
Yeah, we've been kind of in the works with this for a little while, but we're happy to welcome Anthony Gillich from Central Arizona. He's been the head coach there for the last 9 or 10 years, I believe, and there for 14. He's been in the national championship game 3 of the last 5 years, won 2 of them. Just a tremendous asset to what we're trying to do here, and we're super excited to have him on board. I've known Anthony for a while and had a good relationship here with him. With him being at Central and talking about each other's players and whatnot. But just a stand-up individual. We're super excited to welcome him to our staff.
Jacob.
Hey, Willie. Obviously, there's been quite a few departures from ASU since the last time we've spoken. How do you feel like you're well positioned right now with some of the guys on the roster to fill in some of those gaps with those departures?
Well, to be perfectly honest, we feel very good about our position player stance right now. We feel very solid with the kids we have coming in, as well as the returners on the pitching front. Man, I was not expecting to lose all 7 of our draft eligible arms, if I'm being perfectly honest. That's a tribute to the job Sam has done with those pitchers and how he's developed them to where they all got the opportunity to play pro ball. And that's one of the recruiting tools, I guess, that we have at ASU, that man, we have a great platform to get you to the next level, and that holds consistent, whether it's arms or position players, it doesn't matter. In this case, it stings a little bit that we lost all of them. I was not anticipating losing all of them. But what that does is it opens up the opportunity for, a lot of our freshmen coming in to step up. They're going to get baptized by fire right away, kind of like our position players did last year. So, we're very hopeful that some of those kids step up and step in and take on a big role immediately. We added a couple arms in the transfer portal. We're not done. We're still trying to tie up some loose ends here late, if we can, just to get some more experience, that we desperately need at this point. So, we're not done yet. We're not done adding, but we're hopefully starting to feel a little bit better about the mountain situation here a few days from now.
Everett.
Coach, NIL has obviously been a huge topic in college sports and certainly in college baseball. First, kind of what's your general opinion of NIL, and how does NIL either hurt or help a program here?
Sensitive topic. In general, I think it's going to destroy college baseball and college sports, just because there's no cap on it and it can't be regulated. And it's just, it's getting to the point where it's out of hand, and people are offering players behind other programs' backs, and it's turning ugly in that standpoint. Do I think players should have the ability to get paid? Absolutely. But how far are we going to go with this? How are we going to continue to have other programs cherry pick players from other programs, and kids can jump at any second that they want to go chase money? Is that the right thing to do? I don't agree with it. Am I opposed to players getting paid? Absolutely not. I think, for the amount of effort and time they put into this sport and to make some money, I got zero problem with that. But it's turning into a very, very dirty, ugly business behind the scenes, and in a swamp, really, that is unregulated. Really, it's tough to regulate. There's shifty, shady things going on all over the place, that we've experienced firsthand recently. But at the end of the day, man, it's going to turn into the Wild West. If it hasn't already, it's only going to get worse.
Sean.
Hey, Willie. Kind of based on the success that you guys had in the portal last offseason, is there another position group, maybe besides pitching, obviously, that you guys are kind of targeting, or that is like major?
I think just filling in potential depth spots. We brought in a couple of bats. We brought in Josiah Cromwick, is some depth behind the plate and catching wise, which gives us the flexibility to move Tempe around a little bit. And of course we still have Trey Newman there. So we needed some more depth in that position. We felt like we needed a couple more bats in the lineup to use, whether they're DH or left field corner guys or whatever. We brought Iman Lance in from Santa Clara, who had a little bit of injury bug last year, but in the limited amount of at bats, he put up some pretty good numbers. That I think can help us out. Outfield. We broued in Harris Williams from USF, that is hit 360 for USF last year. That's a pretty good player. That I think can be dynamic in the outfield. And then Mario Demera is another kid from USF that we just got on board here the last couple of days. So it adds some depth to the middle infield that now with the departure of Luke Hill, we definitely needed to add some depth there. And again, that's another 350 hitter that's we're adding to an already pretty dang good lineup. So combine those with the position players we have coming in. We don't have a ton of position guys coming in, but the kids that we do have are pretty damn good. Ethan Mendoza and Jax Ryan, to name a couple of them, that are, those kids are going to put us in a better position than we were last year, in my opinion.
Michael.
Hey, Coach, good to see you. I know you mentioned Coach Gillips, and I covered the JUCOs for quite a while. What's he going to be? Who's he going to be working with on your staff, or player-wise, position-wise, I should say? Sorry.
Gilly is he's kind of a jack of all trades. Obviously, being a head coach at Central, has knowledge in every field, but specifically I want him working with our catchers and a little bit of our outfielders. He'll play a big role kind of in the offensive game planning as well. And just, it's another good mind, a good managerial mind, another good head coaching mind that understands the game very well, that can, assist me in my decision making as well. And I think he just, he's a worker, he's a hustler, he's going to be very good in the recruiting game as well. And to me, at the end of the day, just a phenomenal fit for our staff.
And coach, to follow up on the NIL too, real quickly. I mean, I've heard other coaches and people outside kind of echo your comments, like not that players don't deserve, athletes across the sports don't deserve it, but it was just kind of thrown out there and everybody had to pick it up as it goes. Do you feel that there is I don't know if it's a committee or a solution that can kind of guide it and steer it back to not so much the Wild West, like you're saying, and programs cherry picking? I know everybody's got good ideas, but do you feel that there's a road, even though it just kind of got thrown out there, a road to that?
Well, if you've ever put toothpaste back into a tube, let me know. But to me, this is a can of worms have been opened. And man, it's going to be tough to regulate it, in my opinion. Just the stuff that I've heard out there and the stuff that, quite frankly, I know what's going on. It's going to get uglier before it gets better. And unfortunately, you're going to have coaches going toe to toe with each other at some point because of how dirty this is getting. And, you can't blame them. How are you supposed to build a program of integrity and honesty and transparency when you have this stuff going on behind everyone's back? And it's going to make it very difficult for people to trust players. So, what do you do as a head coach in that situation? Do you sign a gazillion players and get the reputation of being a jerk because you oversigned? Well, it's like, how do you know? You don't know who's coming. I mean, shoot, my shortstop left at the 11th hour of the last day of the transfer portal. It's just, how do you know who's coming back and who's not? And to me, that's the disheartening part of this industry that we're getting to. It's just going to get really ugly.
Thanks, coach.
Chris Carvin.
Yeah, Willie, just compared to you were at ASU now, and all these things that you're talking about, NIL, the scholarship workarounds that a lot of schools have with the academic aid and everything else, how much more difficult is it to build and sustain a roster? And what things have you learned that are maybe strategies that can maybe try to help you be successful?
Well, I mean, the landscape is far different than, I think I caught the first part of your question. The landscape is completely different from when I was here. Just in the fact that it is so easy to transfer, with kids to transfer and chase dollars, to where it used to be you had to sit out a year if you were going to transfer. Those days are no longer here. So it makes it very difficult to, like I said, to know who's coming back and who's leaving. And then you throw the draft with the fact that it's at the end of the summer now, that makes zero sense to anybody in this industry, scouts included. So that's another topic that needs to be addressed, in my opinion. But when the draft is this late and you don't know which players are coming back from the draft, and combine that with not sure which players are going to jump and chase a few dollars if they have an opportunity to go elsewhere, it makes it difficult to sustain a type of culture and a program year in and year out, or knowing who you have year in and year out. So, is there a game plan to that? Yeah, you try to recruit the right type of kids with integrity and try to build upon that front. And at the same time, we're a university that we have to try to start raising some funds in order to retain our guys. Like that's just not necessarily acquiring talent, but just the retention factor. But at the end of the day, you try to recruit the type of kids to where they want to get better. They want to focus on the meat and potatoes of playing baseball, and the NIL stuff is secondary. And again, does that mean you're not going to get the blue chip high end players all the time? Probably, but at the end of the day, we aren't going to be able to compete with that anyway. We don't have $1 million per kid for NIL money. It's just that we don't have that, but you try to get the right type of kid, and that's what we're going to try to do, and try to build with those type of kids that really want to be here and be a part of Arizona State.
Jake?
Well, you kind of mentioned it there, not knowing who's exactly on the roster same time makes it kind of hard to, build a culture. But currently on the roster now, who do you feel like are guys who are returning that can kind of help keep you guys on the right track with your culture?
I think you've got to start with Ryan Campos, who's being his third year this year and coming off two tremendous years. New Contradas is coming back. I think he has tremendous leadership skills. Jacob Tobias will be in his third year. Isaiah Jackson, I look for him to take more of a leadership role this year. Nick McLean's returning, Kean Vu. And then, like I said, some of the older guys we brought in, the Cromwicks of the world are going to be, a very valuable piece in his leadership. And Eamon Lance, who's, he's not an egomaniac. He's just here to play baseball and hit. And so, I think those pieces and guys that are, coming in to do the right type of thing and here for the right reasons are going to be huge. Like I said, not to mention the couple freshmen that I got, Jax Ryan and Ethan Mendoza are coming in that have tremendous leadership qualities that I think we're going to be in a much better position moving forward than we were last year with that other freshman that we had that jumped ship. So, I think those type of qualities are what we need here. Those are the mentalities we have to build with. And then from the pitching standpoint, we have a dozen freshman arms that are here, that are working out on their own and just excited to get going. So I think that that excitement, that opportunity is there for these guys, some of these freshmen to step up and be make a name for themselves right away. I think that buzz is here, which is great. But I think that the stabilizing forces are the names you guys know: Campos, Tobias, Contradas, Jackson. Those type of guys are going to come in and hopefully lead the charge.
Matt?
Hey, Willie, you mentioned a second ago that the landscape of recruiting is a lot different than, nowadays than when you were a player. With that said, a historic program like Arizona State that is, do you feel like it's maybe behind the times a little bit in this whole NIL kind of era? And if so, what do you feel like is the first step in getting that in the right direction in terms of the business side of it? You mentioned getting the players with integrity and building good character guys, but from a school's perspective, what do you feel like is the steps that need to, take place in order to keep some guys instead of having them leave?
Well, it's no secret that it's turning into an arms race, in a lot of ways. I think, can we compete at the highest level with that? Absolutely not right now. We got to just get it started, for that matter. And for that, it's got to the point where, just some alums that I've talked to that I played with or in the past, that it's just creating awareness that, guys, this is no longer the early 2000s where it was just straight up recruiting. This is like, we have to get some help. We have to get some support. We have to get some funding. And that's just not me sales pitching to try and get, it's just, hey, this is the program that we all love, man. And that's the landscape we're in. And we got two choices. We can back it and try to raise some funds for this type of thing, that the landscape we're in, or we're going to continue to have a hard time. And I think you guys know where my heart is. I'm here for a reason, and I'm going to continue pushing forward with everything I have. And hopefully that's enough on the surface level. But if we really want to land some of these big blue chip players that are glad, that would love to come to ASU, but can you blame an 18-year-old kid for chasing 250 grand somewhere else? I don't know, put yourself in that 18-year-old shoes. It's awful tough to turn that down. So, we're going to have to come up with something, like you said, on the business side, where we start generating some funds for some of these guys to entice them to come here. Cause it's not just the good old fashioned, campus and coaching staff and facilities that we have that are off the charts, but now you need something more now. So, we're going to have to figure out ways to get that.
Everett?
Coach, it certainly felt like some strides were made this year. of course, certainly with the record, but falling short of your guys' ultimate goal. What was kind of the vibe like around the team, and kind of what was the message that you gave to your players as they went on for the summer?
Yeah, we did make some strides. I was very disappointed in how that came to an end. I thought our boys deserved an opportunity to be in that postseason. I'm not going to get into the details of that selection, but I thought it was a little bit BS for lack of a better term. And I was disappointed for our guys. At the end of the day, I thought they did enough and deserved enough to get in there. So that was the message leaving. It was that you can't leave anything to chance in this game. And we didn't finish the way that we wanted to finish, but we still felt we did enough. But in the future, you have to finish the job. If you leave it to chance, you open the door for someone to screw you. And they did at the end of the day. And whether right, wrong, or indifferent, that's how we feel. And we're going to use it as motivation moving forward. That's all we can do. And do I agree with it? Absolutely not. And those people out there that were in charge of that know who they are, and I know who they are too. And at some point in time, they'll get theirs, and we'll use it as motivation to move forward. And we got to finish the job moving forward. That's all there is to it, and not leave it to chance.
Samuel?
Yeah, hey coach. Last year you guys didn't use too many freshman arms, but it sounds like you guys are gonna be relying on those guys a lot more this year. Who are some of the arms coming in that you feel really good about?
Yeah, you're right. We are going to have to rely on them heavily. I think there's several, some local kids, Cole Carlone, Braden Barnes, Josh Butler, Wyatt Halverson, Rohan Leto, who we got late from Hamilton, that threw the ball exceptionally well, late in this high school year. There's we got a lot of them. We got a lot of freshman arms coming in that we're hoping that they step up. Alec Ballardis, a kid from California. We got Thomas Burns, kid from Wisconsin, that threw the heck out of it late in the summer with some high-end velo type stuff. So those are, to name a few. I know I'm leaving some guys out. Jaden Alba, kid from Gar High School down in California, that is talented young man. So we're going to have to rely on these kids to come in, and you guys want your opportunity. Well, here it is. It's on a platter. We got gutted in the draft. It was, like I said, both positive and negative. We got the fact we got our boys an opportunity to play in pro ball, which is great. That's again a tribute to Sam and what he's done with the pitchers. But on the flip side, that leaves us with we don't got many returners. So we got to have to rely on our freshmen and give them their opportunity. And that's going to be, it is what it is. They're going to have to step up.
Last couple of questions, Jake.
You kind of mentioned there that the pitching, kind of what you envision that looking like, but what about positional wise? Where do you feel like, in the field, there's some of your strongest suits and also some of your weakest points as well?
I feel phenomenal about our offensive and our position players. With the returners we have, starting in the outfield, Isaiah Jackson in center, Nick McLean, capable of playing center or right. Kean Vu's returning, and then we bolstered that up with with Harris Williams coming in. We have another young man who's a two-way player. I forgot to mention his arm wise, Bennett Fryman, good lefty from Texas that really throws the heck out of it on the mound and is athletic enough to play the outfield and can swing it a little bit. So that we feel very good about our outfield. Going around the infield, New Contratus is returning, who've played phenomenal. Kevin Karstetter is a junior college kid that has led junior college the past couple of years in RBIs down at the College of Central Florida, who can really swing the bat. He's up in the Cape right now and had 3 hits yesterday in his first game up there. So, confident with that bat. We got our 2 freshmen coming in at short, Ethan Mendoza, Jax Ryan. Those guys will be mainstays here for a long time, I believe. Bolstering that again is, the Mario Demera kid from USF, who had a good year last year there and is very capable. Toby at first, along with Compton and Eamon Lance and those guys behind the plate. Like I mentioned, you got 2-time All-American Ryan Campos coming back with some depth, Josiah Cromwick and and of course Trey Newman, back again. So, and we got a couple of freshmen coming in there as well. They're going to have to earn some playing time, but at the end of the day, I feel very, very confident about our position player standpoint right now.
Matt,
Coach, a second ago, you mentioned some of those leaders that you anticipate, kind of being vocal pieces of this team moving forward. And obviously with Luke Hill's transfer, as you said, kind of late last, unexpected move there. Have you spoken with these guys that are returning and in terms of maybe what to do moving forward? Are you confident that they're like, kind of buying in on that message of yours and trying to have that character? I guess in other words, what I'm asking is, with not expecting Luke to kind of go like that, are you expecting anything wild like that, I guess, the rest of the way moving forward?
Based on the response from our players, they aren't in the same category as Luke Hill. So, and I say that with the respect of our players. I know their makeup, and they were not happy with how it went down. Not the fact that he's gone, not the fact that he transferred, it's just how it went down. Matter of fact, a lot of them think we're going to be much better without him, with the minus the attitude that at times showed its head with him. But bottom line, if we had players that were in that same boat, they wouldn't have been as vocal to me about it when he left. So I'm confident our players we're going to be a tighter group, a tighter unit, and quite frankly, we're probably going to be better moving forward.
anyone else?
Oh, wait.
Thanks, guys.
On this one.
Oop, did you need one? You
Hey,
sure?
Michael.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it.
You guys.
Thanks, Jeremy.